Welcome to the Chiefs. The Chiefs is a Whiteark podcast aimed at specifically giving you an insight into what makes great leaders and entrepreneurs in a variety of organisations tick. We call them Chiefs. My name is James Ciuffetelli, and together with my Whiteark co-chief, Joe Hands, we're going to attempt to take you on a journey and talk to as many chiefs across as many industries as we can to give you an insight into A, what makes them tick, and B, what makes their enterprises thrive, and more importantly, what they've learnt along the way. The Chiefs. So we are very excited this morning to be joined by Nick Bell and Lisa Teh. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Very excited in a studio, not on Zoom and Teams.
On the day that COVID has just been re-announced. But anyway, on a really serious note, so excited to have you guys. Thanks for joining us. These guys you're going to hear from in this podcast are such a dynamic duo, so active in so many facets of their current business and their previous business and across the entire investment community. So really looking forward to the audience actually hearing their story. And just by way of introduction, Lisa's an inspirational leader with a passion for helping people.
Ease up. What the hell?
I literally see Nick rolling his eyes. I'm like, oh no.
You know what? We had a little bit of jabber before this, and Nick said, "You make sure you start with me." So, Lisa, we are starting with you. You are the inspirational one. Her passion exudes the minute she walks in the door. Her passion for people, and we're going to learn a little bit more about her passion for her business shortly. She's got a lot
He's laughing. He's actually laughing. This is so rude.
You know what? God bless. Nick's got a pretty cool beard, I've got to say, but we'll get to that in a moment. But Lisa's got a significant experience from an agency background. Cody, we'll hear about that story in a moment, and obviously we'll get to Nick. Nick's looking pretty cool today.
We don't need to.
He's got, although Lisa's got those white chinos on. They're
the white chinos. You can't go wrong.
Looking pretty cool.
Terrible.
He said he came here on a white vest but without a helmet on, he told me this morning. But anyway, we won't tell the Victoria Police that. So Nick's a passionate business person and an amazing background, has bought and acquired so many digital agencies and run and sold agencies in his own right, a real entrepreneur around investment, and has obviously a very solid criteria for his model, which we're looking forward to learning about, and absolutely goes without saying he's fanatical about his health and fitness. So guys, welcome to both of you.
Thank you. Where's the inspirational comment? I was waiting for that.
No, the inspirational comment's coming, right?
Inspirational. Lisa's got the inspirational.
I'm going to throw Lisa back.
He got healthy.
I got healthy. Yeah, cares about his health.
Yeah.
Well, let me talk to you about the inspiration that is these two guys together, the dynamic duo of Nick and Lisa. They've just recently started a business called Lisnic.
Yeah.
So Lisnic.com for those of you on our podcast who are wanting to quickly look it up. It's a platform that connects mentees with the best business and people of mind, mentors in the world. So we're going to learn a little bit more about that and this whole concept of mentoring. And I saw a post that you put out the other day, Nick. It was inspirational, where actually brought a tear to my eye, where you actually referenced your father. And I love that because for myself, my father is someone who's been an amazing influence on me. So I really love the way that you leant in and personally referenced that. So I'll ask you a little bit about that a little bit later on. But we are so fortunate to have you today on the Chiefs. And let's get the ball rolling with you both in no particular order. In fact, Lisa, we're going to go with Lisa first.
Order, but Lisa's first.
Lisa, I want to know, how did you guys meet?
Lisa was stalking me on LinkedIn.
She's only human.
That's what I said.
No, you should have seen his photo. He looked like the biggest bogan. And I was like, who's this guy?
I've got to put him through the hair salon.
Seriously, what a glow up. You should have seen him before. Actually, maybe what we can do, Derek, maybe we can add, you can actually Photoshop in his pre-me photo.
Before and after.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a shit show.
Honestly, not pretty at all. I will provide you with high-res images to do that. So,
I've got visions of Queer Eye for the straight guy, but anyway, that's a story for another podcast.
Honestly, he was a mess before I met him. He looked hideous.
All right, I'm going to leave now. Thanks for this.
How was that computer repair business?
I actually messaged him on LinkedIn, so I slid into his DMs, all above board. I'm sure you'll probably say something else, but I didn't write anything naughty. But I saw in his LinkedIn headline actually that he was looking for digital agencies. So
to acquire.
To acquire. Yeah. So I was like, I don't know who this guy is, and I just saw that. I was like, I'm just going to message him. And then he replied, and then we ended up having a phone call. I was like, yeah, he seems okay. And then he was going overseas, and then he said, let's catch up for coffee, I think about a week later. So caught up for coffee at this cafe. I brought my then business partner, and I thought he was the biggest dickhead, and I've already told him this as well.
First impressions, they count, Nick.
First impressions were not good.
I'm like, just keep it short and sharp. Quick meeting. What do you want?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah. Before it even sat down, like, I hadn't even ordered coffee yet, and he was like, "So what's your P&L like? What's your revenue?" I was like, "Who is this guy?" Like, honestly.
Give me the meat and potatoes. Just tell me what's it about.
And then we sat down, had a chat. I was like, oh, and for some reason I actually didn't even Google him or anything before we caught up, and then I left the meeting. I was like, God, he's so intense. Like, whoa, what an intense guy. And then I thought I should probably actually Google this guy. And I was like, oh shit, he's actually somewhat successful. Bad fashion sense, but somewhat successful. And then we sort of went through the DD stage, and then he was so quick on emails. I was like, oh, it's like actually really fast to reply. And then he all of a sudden stopped, and I thought, oh, I don't know if I've told you this story. You probably heard it before. I thought, oh, I wonder if he's, what's happened. Yeah. And then so I messaged him, and then he goes, oh, I'm actually not interested. Because I said, hey, are you still interested? And he goes, no. And I thought, oh, okay. That's fine.
It's like a
whatever.
bad date.
Bloody ghosted me.
Yeah.
You know what's funny, Joe? Their energy, these two, we're like, man, I want some of that. Like when they came in together, it was amazing, right? This is fantastic.
Yeah, well, actually, the interesting thing was, and I can't explain it because when I first had a chat to him on the phone, I actually felt this weird energy, and I thought, oh, I feel like we're going to do something together. And at the time I had no idea what. And then so that night I just thought, look, I've actually got no shame. Like, I'm happy to ask any question. So I just thought, oh, I'll email him. And I just said, look, I've got nothing to lose. So I said, hey, I really feel like there's something here. Would you be open to having another chat? And then he said yes. And then so we had another chat, and then you said, okay, I'll put an offer down.
Yeah, so I squeezed her on price.
And then
squeezed her right down.
I was
It
like,
was
I'm
a strategy.
pretty much probably
This is it or nothing.
Yeah.
And then we end up doing a deal, and then the rest is history.
Yeah. And so, I think the interesting thing for me was that, like, I really wanted to trust my gut, and like, I appreciate him taking a chance. But, since I've gotten to know him, don't want to pump him up because he's like right there, but he's honestly like amazing. Like, he's such a good person. So, but like, just a really good person. So I feel really, appreciative that he did take that chance, because it's not like, I know now, being in the position that he's in, like, so many people would want to take advantage of him, and I sort of almost feel a bit protective because I know how many people have tried to screw him over, and I just think that I'm really glad that
Where's the tissues? Let's get them out.
I think I tried to say something nice.
It's even meaningful right now.
Yeah.
You know what, Lisa? That's such a heartfelt and genuine story.
Sorry.
And Nick, I actually I'd love your perspective, because I mean it's so
I've never
raw
heard
and so
this.
honest with the emotion.
Yeah.
I'd love your perspective on that initial meeting, and what was it that actually, I don't know, turned you on Lise?
Yeah, look, initially when I first met Lisa, I thought, I wasn't feeling the vibe from Lisa and her then business partner. And I was like, and then I started doing, but I said, look, I'll give it a crack and see what happens. So we started doing DD on the business. And as I dug deep into the financials, I was like, this isn't pretty. And then I said to Lisa when we caught up, I said, look, it's probably not for me, but thank you anyway. And then she just wouldn't take no for an answer.
Tenacious.
Emailed me, called me, because remember you called me again. I'm like, she's got some go in her. She's got some nous, which I like, and she's persistent. Yeah. So I thought, all right, let's give it a crack. And the investment, and no offense to Lisa, the investment wasn't big. So I thought, look, I can roll the dice with this one and see what happens. And best investment probably ever made. Oh, there you go.
Now,
There we
Lisa,
go.
Please get that. I want to cut that as a single clip.
There we go.
you know what, Lisa? I want to tell you that's inspirational, what Nick just put forward there. I think that was a beautiful moment.
But look what came out of it. So now we're doing Lisnic together. We're doing obviously
podcast
and a book. Like, a lot came out of it in the past year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, I think we're just so, I can't describe it. I think we're so similar in a lot of ways, but really different in a lot of ways, and we just get along.
And we have a laugh. Like, I give her shit, she gives me shit.
I love it.
And that's, you get to a stage in your life, like, it's not, you don't take yourself so seriously.
No.
Have some fun.
We're
One
really
of our values
immature.
at Whiteark is about fun, right? So I actually love the fact that you've got two different perspectives, two different styles, but it's clear that the energy and the magic that comes together because you have some fun, right? It really resonates. So you mentioned Lisnic. Tell us about Lisnic.
Yeah, we're really excited for that. So we are currently in beta testing, but as you mentioned before, we're both super passionate about mentors. So for us, like, they've really changed our lives, not just in business, but in life in general. And so we we really want to help the business community and give back. So that's really why we sort of started going down this journey. And we wanted to create something that would help people all around the world find people that would change their life. Yeah. So we just know it's been really hard to find a mentor, and especially because everyone's so time poor these days. So they're focused on their own business, their own life. You're constantly connected, so you don't have time. So we thought, why not create a platform where we can get everyone in the world who wants to be better at business to come on and then list what they're looking for and then find someone who can help them. So yeah, we're really excited. So we're about to go into beta testing. It's it's been an interesting journey though.
It's bigger than we expected in terms of the platform build. This is my first kind of platform. I'm like, holy moly, this is a big build.
I remember when you started, you're like, we'll get this done in 8 weeks.
3 months done. And then I think 12 months later, it's finally coming to fruition. But the platform itself is pretty kick-ass. We've got some heavy hitters on there already. We've got the founder of Netflix, Mark Randolph, Robert Kiyosaki on there. Some big names on there already. But you don't have to be a big name. You could be the MD of Joe's Plumbing, for example. So we've got kind of mid-level mentors to top-end mentors. So it's going to be good, we think. You got to think of, say, an Airtasker / Upwork, where you put a job on there. I'm looking for someone to help me scale my business, looking for someone in this industry, and then mentors will then bid. Some mentors may do it for free if they want to give back. It really depends.
It's a really interesting concept, right? Because I think, to your point, Lisa, it's hard to find a mentor. It's hard to find somebody who, at that particular point in your career or what you're doing with your business, is going to be able to help you with that particular thing. And there'll be people that you say, okay, I've got a mentor for life, that you will touch base with, but you need specific help on certain things. And to be honest, I don't. To be honest, if you go back 10 or 15 years, I felt like you'd find someone. Now I agree with you. People are so time poor, they don't necessarily want to lean in. Or the people who do want to lean in, you don't know that they are happy to lean in. And so actually you might not have the confidence to be able to find the right person to ask that question to. And it's so important to get that perspective. Just even a 20-minute conversation with someone who's doing something that is something you want to do gives you a whole range of things to think about in terms of how you're going to execute or think about something. I think it's a really great concept.
What's the old saying? You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
And when I first started my first agency, I was a bloody cowboy.
Thought
I knew everything. Thought I knew everything. Didn't need any help. I was an absolute idiot. Now I've got about 10 mentors now that I lean on almost daily. It's not actually on a WhatsApp group. And these guys are super successful. If I didn't have them, then I'd be an absolute mess. So I'm a massive believer in having mentors these days, as I mentor Lisa as well.
And I mentor Nick.
Can I tell you,
is it counselling or mentoring?
Counselling, fashion advice, just being a good human.
It sounds like such an amazingly simple and logical idea, Lisnic. And to be honest, when I looked at it, I thought, okay, great. But nothing exists. And I think you guys are really in.
I'm surprised by it. Nothing's out there.
No, because it wasn't until we sat down and we looked at it and I thought, okay, mentors, because Nick, you wrote an article, I mentioned it in the intro, that about your father, and it was actually quite, for me, my father's an absolute inspiration to me. He's run businesses, migrated from Australia, couldn't speak English, but was able to sort of find ways. And if you ask him, in my context, I say, Dad, who was the most important? He goes, you know what? I found people who were better than me in Australia, and I just went and asked them questions and got advice. And really, that's the foundations of mentorship, which is the foundations of your business. But nobody's doing it. So congratulations to you guys for pulling it off. And you've created the SaaS platform or whatever you want to call it, but you're there, and now you're actually obviously getting to have the head of Netflix and what have. What do you look for in a mentor?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. For me personally, someone who's at a much higher level than me. That's a good starting point.
Yep.
And if I want someone who's very good at scaling businesses, then I'll reach out to someone who's very good at scaling businesses, or someone who's very good at building a strong culture in the company. If I want to improve my culture, I'll reach out to them. So I look for specific skill sets.
For you.
For me.
Perfect.
But I need to learn someone who's at a much higher level than me. So if someone's revenue's at, say, $1 million and mine's at 100 million, probably not the right person for me. If someone's at a $500 million revenue and I'm at 100, absolutely the right person for me.
But I love that you've actually thought about it in that context, because I might be a plumber and running a successful, owner-operated business on my own, right? But I'm trying to get the second van or the third van and what have you. And your platform allows for all different types of contexts and profiles.
Yeah, I think for me, it's like also someone who's an expert at what they do. Because I was talking to someone about this the other day, and they said you'd pay an accountant to help you with accounting, you'd pay a lawyer to help you with legal stuff. So it's almost like a business mentor is there to help you with business, and the amount of investment that you make compared to what they can help you earn or save is incredible. And something actually that we have on the platform too, what we call mind mentors. So they're therapists and psychologists, and obviously last year, I think especially really shone a light on the importance of mental health in business. And, both of us really think that it's important to be, on top of your mental health, and business is bloody tough at the best of times, let alone during a pandemic. So we're actually going to have therapists and psychologists from all around the world that can help you with, if you want to improve public speaking, managing stress, managing people.
Anxiety.
Although I got so much anxiety working with you. Definitely need to get a therapist on the side. I think it's something that I feel, the pandemic was really hard, but one of the positives to come out of it was that people are so much more comfortable talking about their mental health. And, I've done it before on LinkedIn, and that very first time I posted about it, it was really hard because I thought, are people going to judge me and say, oh, you're actually weaker because you've got, challenges with mental health? And, to me, I found it really, I feel like we have a responsibility as people with the platform to talk about it and say, everyone struggles at some stage in their life, and that's just fine. We're all human. So we're excited to bring that element into the business discussion as well, and encourage people to be more open and actually seek help if they need it.
And it's such a taboo too, right? So it's actually great that you've actually overlaid that into, some of the important business principles, obviously, but that whole mental well-being and what have you post-COVID, there are so many businesses that aren't just struggling financially. They may not be struggling financially, but they're struggling emotionally, right?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
Kudos to you guys.
Plus, there's a lot of business coaches and life coaches. I think everyone's becoming a life coach.
Yeah, I
these
agree.
days. What's going on?
It's like the PTs, it's the next round.
I was in Noosa over the Christmas break, and we went to a restaurant, and I was chatting to the chef. He goes, "I'm a chef / life coach." He goes, "I think you could do some life coaching." I'm like, "Mate, what are you talking about? I'm just ordering some food from you." Like, everyone's becoming a life coach these days.
You can tell that you're a mess,
Yeah,
obviously.
probably did. So the platform, actually, you can rate and review coaches. Plus, if you don't like the first session, it's on us. It's free.
Love it.
So
We call it our first date guarantee.
I think there's so many people out there just taking
great.
advantage of innocent souls in terms of, I'm going to make you a millionaire, or I'm going to make you a better person, and they take their money and then deliver nothing.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to add, all the sessions are run through the platform, so it's all done via video. So you can do it in your PJs if you want to, but you can now get mentored from anywhere in the world. So you're not just limited to, say, people who, you can catch up for coffee with, which we think is a good thing.
And how long does normally the session last? Like, if you're time poor, is it normally an hour, or can you do it 20 minutes, or is it
30 minutes to an hour, entirely up to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think it's fantastic. I really like the whole thing around the mental health piece as well, and I think it is. We've read about it and we've heard about it. I don't even think we've really even seen the full impact from a society perspective on it. I think that people are still in their homes. A lot of them haven't even gone back into work. Yeah. They're anxious. They don't feel safe. And actually, there's this how do employers make their employees feel safe, and how do they want them to come back to the office? And yet people can tell you they're more productive at home. Let's be honest, leading and getting vibes and really driving your team, you need to be in the office. You need to have that vibe. Like, it doesn't work through Zoom and Teams, not for the long term, right?
How do you build a culture when everyone's at home? But then trying to get your team back in the office. So we were bringing people back. Obviously now the restrictions are back in place. Yeah. A lot of the staff want to stay at home. Like, how do you build a company culture when you're sitting on your couch?
True. Yeah.
It's impossible. Well, am I going to see you once a year at Christmas, at the Christmas party?
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
But the interesting thing is, I think a lot of the older people, God, I'm pretty much in that bucket now. But
the old duck speaking.
Lisa and I are 21, just for all of our listeners.
Exactly. Derek make me look young. So a lot of the older people probably settled in their career. They're not as ambitious as the younger people. So they'll probably stay at home because they might have kids, or it's just easier. Whereas the younger people are still really hungry. So they're going to come in. They're going to be top of mind when promotions are happening. So it's going to be an interesting, I think, next couple of years to see how the workplace really evolves, because you're going to have a whole lot of people who are really hungry and who want to be top of mind coming back and being in the office, and then a whole lot of people just staying at home, not being present. So
I think it's going to be a big challenge getting people back to the office.
Me too.
Big challenge.
Yeah.
And do you enforce it, or do you allow flexibility? What do you do?
Where's the middle ground?
Where's the middle ground? I got a mate of mine. He goes, I want everyone back in the office because I cannot build company culture this way.
And that's fair enough, right?
Yeah, and I've got the banks poaching my developers,
Yeah.
offering them $20,000 more because I can't wow them with our culture because they're working from home. I was like, that's a really good point.
Yeah, and especially in the technology field where the that whole war on talent. I mean, they're so in demand, right?
Yep.
It's all of a sudden you were being able. A lot of people come to work for the connection.
Yeah.
So the connection's gone because we're doing it through Zoom. And actually, I don't really like my job that much. And actually, I can get a paycheck for $20,000. Which actually, if I'm sitting in the office and I'm with my mates, I'm going to think twice about moving for
Correct.
$20,000. But I'm sitting at home, so it doesn't really matter anyway.
Correct.
So that whole how do you retain people?
Yeah.
How do you build a culture? It's tough. And I think that there's a significant anxiety, mental health issues, a whole lot of stuff that we know's there, but we haven't even really unsurfaced. And how, as an employer, do you actually deal with that and get on top of it and do it in a delicate way, but in a way that actually drives your business forward, right? Because
You know what I love about Lisnic, I think in the context of this particular point of the conversation now, you're kind of creating this melting pot or community of lifelong learners, because it doesn't matter if I'm the CEO of Netflix or I'm James Ciuffetelli, the plumber, right? Yeah, this melting pot of people who can actually share experiences. They're not necessarily, from the same work environment, because typically we come from structures where my mentor is a two-up leader and it's all very formal and very structured, and here's every fortnight the blue hat that I wear and the meetings we have. But this is all, so I actually think Lisnic will play a big role in actually driving this world beyond COVID, because I think that's probably the piece we're talking about hasn't been resolved, and you guys have got a platform that could actually help people work through that.
Yeah, and I think that community piece is really important to both of us. Like, I know we invest a lot into responding to people's messages. I know, like this is one thing I thought was amazing about Nick. I want to say one other good thing.
That's three, Nick.
Yeah, three. I know.
On a roll here, Liz.
that's enough for a year. You've got to wait for 22
please.
now.
I've got COVID. I'm sick. No.
They really do love each other, guys. I just want you to be clear on it.
But I remember he said to me, "Oh my God, I'm so tired." I go, "What have you been doing all day?" And this is a Sunday. And he goes, "I've just been responding to people's DMs for 7 hours straight, pretty much." I'm
I
like,
think it's respectful to respond to someone's messages.
Yeah.
Like when I message someone and they don't respond, I'm like, mate, just give me 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And I can acknowledge it.
Yeah.
So I think it's just respectful to respond to people's messages, unless they're trying to sell you crap.
Yeah.
I'm like, mate.
Then delete them.
Yeah. Mate, go
Block
away.
report. But, for us, creating that community has been really, I think something that we're both passionate about.
Yeah.
And doing the content together has been really fun. And I think it's allowed us to build our own little community that we're going to then bring onto Lisnic. And actually, I did a post on Clubhouse the other day, because we're both just joined Clubhouse. And all these people were actually commenting saying, "Oh, I don't have an invite." And I actually didn't have any at the time.
No.
And random people in my community were actually going, "Hey," and they'd never met this person, just because they were commenting going, "Hey, I'll give you an invite." And I just thought that's like so bizarre. It's actually crazy. And even like it was my birthday recently. This guy, bloody hell. So he does a nice birthday message. He goes, "I'm turning 40. I'm like, I'm literally still in my 30s, desperately hanging on. And everyone's messaging me going, "You don't
Congrats.
it's 40. But I love that though. Everyone's like, "You don't look 40. I was like, "Thank you." But when he said when I did his video, no one said, "You don't look 40. Everyone's like, "You look older than that." But like people were messaging me and sending me stuff. And I just thought that's so incredible. I've never even met me before, but it's amazing the power of building that digital community. And you don't even have to know people face to face for people to feel invested in you. So, whenever we're doing businesses, like whether it's podcast, the book, or Lisnic, we love taking people on that journey so they can see the whole process. They feel invested. And I think that's one thing that we both, find is a bit different to us. We're not just going, "Hey, we've launched a platform." Like, we're showing people like this is what we're doing now. This is, the process. And I think it's a great way to actually bring people on and have them invested before you've even launched. So
I think it's good. And I like the fact that you guys do videos and practical tips. This is... And it can be about, hey, you need to do this thing at the gym, or you need to, but no, seriously, but it's quite all round.
I'm like, all right, this is how you juggle.
But
This is my skincare
it's so
routine,
personal,
guys.
isn't it? I mean, what you're hearing, these guys have not only bought their values, they've bought their personalities, they've bought themselves.
Yeah.
Lisa clearly loves Nick. It goes without saying, right?
So Lisa
Sometimes.
does the fluffy content. I do the content that adds value to people's lives.
I add value.
Oh, don't fear fears you.
People are fearful of things.
It's all emotive content. Whereas mine, like, okay, this is how you're going to improve your business. This is how you get healthier. Lisa's like, don't fear. It's going to fear you. All this kind of stuff.
Excuse me, my content helps. I hope it helps people. Maybe I'm.
It does. And what about the book? Tell us a bit about the book. You've given us a little bit on LinkedIn about the book.
Yeah.
So don't feel like you have to give us more than you want to, but tell us a little bit about what you're trying to achieve with the book and where you're heading.
Yeah, so that's a very good question. I think we accidentally got a book deal. So we're like, okay, cool, this happened. Now we have to write a book. So something that we really wanted to do was not put out something just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
So we had a book. So we've been really sort of going back and forth, like, there's obviously so many books out there. What's going to make ours particularly special? So you actually came up with a great idea.
We got
so
a book deal without having a concept in place, which is
yeah, which, like,
unheard of.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, what have we done? And then so we're bouncing around ideas. I'm like, what do we do here? So then we came up with the concept of starting a business within 90 days and making it profitable within 90 days.
Oh, great.
So how do you do it? Because we've both done it previously. Actually, I'm not sure if you have.
I have.
Oh, they still. But yeah, so that's
Switch
the
this
concept. So basically,
mic.
tips and tricks to start a business and hopefully make it profitable within 90 days or less.
Great.
For example, my first business got profitable within 4 days. So there are ways to do it. You just got to be smart with how you spend your money and spend your capital.
Yeah.
If you've got capital, of course.
Yeah. And move very, very quickly, which a lot of companies have trouble doing.
Correct. So,
Yeah,
so we're going to have like
absolutely.
day 1 you do this, day 3 do this, day 7 do this kind of
Oh,
scenario.
that's great.
Yeah, so it's like a step-by-step guide on how to do it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Just have to write it now. Well, I probably have
Lisa,
to.
we go right up.
Yeah, damn
Lisa,
it.
you're in charge
I
of
gotta
the
go.
working title. What's the working title for this book?
Oh no.
No, yet to be decided, but I said golden nuggets.
Golden nuggets.
But Lisa's like, no.
I don't
effing
want to
way.
be known as the girl who wrote Golden Nuggets. So no.
Well, it's, yeah, yet to be decided. But it's a work in progress.
Well, it sounds interesting. And I think that sounds like a really practical book that you kind of go, a lot of people would think it's not possible. So actually giving them a step-by-step of how to actually do it, like that's actually really helpful.
Yeah,
Right?
it's-
Not
it's-
just a
it's-
concept or a theory.
100%.
Yeah,
And it's going to be
absolutely.
both e-commerce and service-based.
Okay,
Love it.
So it's
fantastic.
not just service-based, which is quite easy.
Yeah.
It's going to be a combination of both.
Yeah.
The practicality would be awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because it doesn't mean that you have to do it within 90 days. You can do it quicker or you can do it longer, but it's going to give you actually a guide on how to launch a business. So it'll have things about marketing, picking the name. What else is it going to have? Kind of think now. Doing website. It's going to have quick tools and, cheap tools so you don't have to spend a whole lot of money. So, yeah, we hope that it's going to be a
Perfect timing on
bestseller.
that front too, Les, because so many businesses coming out of COVID, even though those who aren't new and have been around for a while, that really were operating in a context pre-COVID that probably needed a complete change anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's going to be a really good frame of reference
Yeah.
for them to say, okay, well, you know what, I completely lost sight. These are the 10 steps I need to take. And I mean, with your frame of reference, Nick, 90 days to profit. I mean, that's kind of unheard of, right?
Oh, maybe that's the
Unheard of.
title. 90 days to profit.
There you go.
Maybe it is. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
The biggest challenge with most people that want to start a business is they overthink the situation. And I had a guy on LinkedIn recently, he's asked me questions about this and Nick, should I do this? I said, mate, one piece of advice, just start.
Go.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't overthink it. And he's like, oh, you're bloody right, just start. I said, mate, just start and fail and fix it and keep rolling on.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. But people just go, they overthink a situation, overanalyze, and never do anything.
Yeah, you're the opposite. You have the opposite
I
problem.
underthink everything.
He's literally got no forethought.
I love just go.
Just
There's
go.
Nick's working title,
Yeah,
just
and then
go.
I'm like, but hang on, but what about this and this and this? And he's like, oh yeah, whoops, didn't think of that. I'm like, oh god.
Black hat, Joe. I'm hearing the black hat.
Literally scares me. He scares me with all the stuff.
Well,
he
you're a great
does.
combination.
Oh god.
But Nick, you've been, really successful in what you've done, right? And success isn't just about money or wealth, but it's really about being able to also your ability to be able to give back from a business perspective, to be able to invest in things that you're passionate about, like the health thing you're doing in Noosa and that kind of stuff. What's your advice to people that are out there? So you've given a little bit of advice about, just start, but, do you have some pieces of advice that you wish someone had given you 10 years ago or 20 years ago? Or, what's a pearl of wisdom that you could give people that are thinking about doing their own business and want to do something new?
The thing about money, it creates opportunity. So
Yeah.
having money allows me to do the health retreat
Yes.
in Noosa, for example.
Yeah.
But to get the money, you've got to do the right thing day in, day out.
Yeah.
You've got to be consistently doing the right things.
Yeah.
So you don't do it for a month and then drop off.
No.
You got to do it for 3 years,
Yeah.
4 years, 5 years. So I'm not a genius, but I tend to hire very smart people
Yeah.
that are very strong in their own field
Yeah.
that make me look good.
Yeah.
Like I'm an absolute dumbass, but I'm very good at hiring people and then bringing them together
Yeah.
to work towards one goal. But I've got to make sure these people stay on track day in, day out. That's the key.
Yeah.
You see a lot of people go, they start a business or they start something, but after 6 months they just fall off the wagon.
Yeah.
You're never going to do anything. So the key is do the right thing day in, day out. That's the best advice I can give anyone.
Yeah.
Repeat.
Repeat. It's all it is.
Yeah.
If you actually do that, you'll build a decent business.
So true.
That's all it is.
Because it's easy to get distracted, right? There's so much noise.
100%. Like
Yeah.
keep things simple. It's a very simple formula. Do the right things, have your marketing right, have your lead gen right, have a very good sales funnel, and deliver on what you promise.
Yeah.
And you'll build a good business.
Yeah,
That's
love it.
all it is.
That's
Pearls
fantastic.
of wisdom. I love it.
But isn't that right, Lise? I've been telling her this non-stop.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I love Lisa's smile. She's on board.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board.
Everyone goes, there really isn't much to building a decent-sized business.
Yeah. No, I actually love your concept of it because Joe and I are both are big believers in you got a plan, but then you've got to go out and, first of all, action,
Yeah.
lean in and
Yeah.
do something,
Yeah.
and learn and make decisions, but repeat,
Yeah,
right?
an idea is just absolute nonsense. Like it means nothing.
Yeah,
It's
it's
all
so
about
true.
the execution and how long you
Exactly.
execute for. So, like,
And pivot when you make a mistake. Like you got to fail fast. You know, make it.
Be conscious.
Actually, failure is actually part of success. You've
100%.
just got to keep moving.
So I'm hungrier now than I was when I first started because I just enjoy the process. It becomes almost a game, and you almoys compete with yourself. You enjoy the art of kind of winning versus yourself.
Yeah, I love it.
It's actually quite sick. I need to get help.
I think you do. You
You
need
know-
to sign up for Lisnic and get a mind coach.
No, I do actually.
Lise, he looks pretty good for a 70-year-old, doesn't he?
Oh, that's questionable.
Look, we could keep talking to you guys forever. Joe, I'm conscious that we promised
Yeah.
these guys would get him out
Yeah,
in 20
I know.
minutes, and here we are 4 hours later. But I have got one last question for each of you. So, yeah, look, such an amazing story. When you're not working, tell the listeners, what are you doing? Because you guys are so leaning in on everything, especially Lisnic. I think it's going to be just amazing. But everything that you do, the health retreat in Queensland, the businesses that you help, what do you do, Lise, when you're not working? What keeps you grounded?
Oh, God. I feel like I'm working all the time, unfortunately.
So you're working when you're not working.
Yeah, I can't stop, which I think is a whole nother topic. But shopping, like, I do love shopping, I must admit. And then actually, someone was saying to me that's a form of active meditation. I'm like, that's excellent. I'll shop more then. No, I do love shopping.
I'm going to put my wife forward as a mentor. If you've got someone for shopping, she can help people shop.
Oh, I definitely can. This is really off topic, but I found out that there's a career path and it's called, like, you can become a financial dominatrix.
Oh.
And you cause pain by spending people's money. I'm like,
No, I've got
I
a
was
career
born to
change
do
coming
that
on.
job. So, yeah, I love shopping. But I guess in all seriousnness, like for me, I love getting outdoors, not camping. I definitely don't like camping. But I'm lucky enough to live right near the Yarra, so I usually go for a walk every morning, never bring my phone. As soon as I see my phone, if it's anywhere in my line of sight, I just start thinking about emails, messaging, all that. So never bring my phone, and I just love just going out, taking the dog for a walk. And yeah, I think for me, I have to focus more on just not doing a million things at once. Because even if I work out at home, I'm listening to a podcast or listening to an audiobook. When
You're
I'm
on.
doing my makeup, yeah, I can never switch off. And
What are you talking
that's
about? You're always on Netflix.
me.
Yeah.
No,
Worse.
I don't watch anything.
Let's do it.
Awful. But yeah, so I think I'm going to focus more this year on actually switching off and
Yeah.
not feeling guilty. Because I think if you own your own business, there's that sense that I need to be working all the time. If I'm not working, I'm not going to be making money. I'm not going to be successful. So that's what I'm going to focus on this year a bit more. But yeah, it's
I love that, Lise. When you're on, you're on. But, that whole concept of walking by the Yarra and not bringing your phone
Yeah.
and being in that moment is
Yeah.
just as important to recharge, right,
Yeah,
for your mind.
exactly. And even when I'm out with friends, I try not to even have my phone on the table because there's that temptation to always reach for it. Whereas if someone's generous enough to give me their time to hang out, like I want to give them my full attention. So that's something that I want to try and do more this year.
Oh, thank you. That's so
That
fantastic.
is.
What about you, Nick?
Yeah.
When you're not on,
Oh, mate. Like, I'm off a lot. So during COVID, I started doing gymnastics.
oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I'm an old guy trying to be young.
Please do a
again.
demonstration. No.
So I do
Jump
gymnastics.
on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you'll see some of the
No, I'll
gymnastics.
jump on Lisa's back.
I saw that.
Break my bloody back.
So gymnastics and then hanging out with my kids. So, for example, on Sunday, my kids, they want a horse. I said, I'm not going to get you a horse, but I'll pretend to be a horse for you.
No
So
way.
I'm on the front lawn eating grass for my kids, and they're feeding me grass.
God.
So this is what I do in my spare time: act like a horse and do gymnastics.
I think but I love that, right? I mean, he even goes to the level of role playing that he eats the grass, Joe.
Jesus
They're calling me
Christ.
Henry the horse, so I got to eat the grass. Oh, that's very lovely grass.
Can I jump in though and say that like Nick's obviously super successful and he doesn't have to work, but he's honestly one of the hardest working people I know. And I think that there's probably I don't know if there's a misconception about that, but like he works literally round the clock, and I have to say like I've got full respect to him for that, because it's easy in business to think that, oh yeah, you know, you start a business, you make lots of money and you can just relax, but it's really hard work. I think not a lot of people realize that it's really stressful and you're going to feel tired most of the time. You have to make sacrifices, but like I think for us, we both love the process, so it's like actually
Here's the
enjoyable.
brown envelope sliding across the desk. With some money in it.
But I love that, Lisa. I mean, that whole concept of nothing comes easy, right? So
Exactly.
You've got to lean in. You've got the idea. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
so many pearls of wisdoms here around hard work. I mean, the planning. I love your analogy around just do, right? Just lean in and have a crack, right? But set yourself some milestones. You guys call it 90 days. I think, Nick, you might have even said 4 days. You turned it into profit because you followed a process and a plan. And obviously it was underpinned by hard work. So, look, on behalf of Joe and I and the Whiteark team, thank you so much for your time.
No, thanks for having us.
This
Loved
morning,
having
you
you.
guys
Thank
are
you
really
so much.
inspiring, and look forward to some of the businesses that we work with, obviously leaning in, hopefully being a part of Lisnic and what
Yeah.
you guys do. It's going to be amazing.
It's really exciting. So
Well, you
thank
guys
so
better be on
much.
the platform.
Oh,
Because
definitely.
you guys have a lot of, well, you know, you've obviously done so much in your career. So I know there's a whole lot of people that would benefit from all the amazing things that you've achieved. So
Yeah, it sounds
thank you,
really,
Liz.
really interesting. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time.
No, thanks
thanks for
us,
putting
guys.
up with us.
Enjoy. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.